ஞானத்தின் ஆழம், அர்த்தமுள்ள ஆன்மீகம்.
அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி, அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி, தனிப்பெரும் கருணை, அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி. My salutations to the viewers of ArulJothi TV. This is my first appearance in a TV program, and I'm really glad to communicate to you all. And I would like to see you all as the immortal souls of this universe that has been the manifestation of the eternal Parabrahman, the Arulperum Jyothi. Arulperum Jyothi, Arulperum Jyothi, Thanipperum Karunai, Arulperum Jyothi. The sage Vallalar has seen the eternal Parabrahman in the form of the gracious light, in the form of the compassion. That eternal, gracious, blissful light has manifested as compassion, and that has been feeding, that has been caring, and every bit and every moment of a living being in this world. And today we are going to look at a song of sage Vallalar named Sanmarga Murasu. We have this word Sanmargam has extensive and intensive meaning in it. To literally translate it in English, we can see Sanmargam is the path of truth. It is not the path to truth, but it is the path of truth. A path to truth is a path you take to attain the truth that is in somewhere at the distance. But the path of truth doesn't keep the truth away from the seeker. The truth and the seeker are one. From the moment he starts to discover, he discards all that is falsehood and he begins the first step, which is in itself the last step. From the moment of search, the truth and the seeker are one. When we go into the song, we would be able to really relate to what sage Vallalar says. Kidakku veluttadu karunai arujjothi udayam கிடைத்த எனதுள்ள கமலம் கிளர்ந்ததென எனது அகத்தே சழக்கு வெளுத்தது சாதி ஆசிரம சாரம் சமயமதாச்சாரம் சண்டையிட்ட கலக வழக்கு வெளுத்தது பலவாம் பொய்நூல் கற்றவர் தம் மனம் வெளுத்து வாய் வெளுத்து வாயுர வாதித்த உழக்கும் வெளுத்தது சிவமே பொருள் எனும் ஷண்மார்க்க முழுநெறியில் பரநாத முரசு முழங்கியதே. In the first phrase, we could see கிழக்கு வெளுத்தது. Here, கிழக்கு doesn't literally mean east. It means something that dawns in the mind of the seeker, something that becomes the seeker, which dispels the darkness. The wisdom, the blissful light, the Arulperum Jyothi, which dawns in the mind of which dawns in the being of the seeker, dispels the darkness. Kidakku veluttadu. The darkness has gone away completely. When one seeks the truth, from the first step itself, he has to completely discard all the caste, all the religions, all the nationalities that divides the humanity. The nationalities divide the world. The caste divides the humanity into 1,000 bits of pieces. And you see, the religion divides the humanity, which creates the conflict, and the man fights against the man, which is the sorrow of this current world. You see, crores of people have died in the wars, in the quarrels, in the fights, in the riots, in the name of castes, in the name of religions, in the name of nationalities, in the name of all divisions. So the seeker has to first, in the first step itself, he has to discard all the divisions that divides the humanity. From the very small division like caste, religion, nationality. You see, the world is one. It's very much obvious that the world is one. Man's mind has divided it into n number of pieces. So this is the sorrow of the humanity now. So the speaker, in the first step, he has to discard all that is falsehood, all that is the construction of the mind, which is the darkness. Then the wisdom dawns. Kizhakku veluttadu. The light has come. Karunai ArulJothi udayam kidaithu. Karunai ArulJothi udayam. The ArulJothi, that which is the graceful light that has dawned in my heart, that has dawned in my heart. So it is not something that newly has come, suddenly rising from somewhere else. It has been already there in the seeker's heart. It has always been there, but once the darkness has been dispelled, that has come up. Sun is not newly born and coming up. When the dark sun has always been there, but in the morning you see the rise of the sun. So it is the rise of the sun. It is not the creation of the sun that we see in the east. In the same way, it has been already there. The ArulJothi, the sun, the omniscient light is always there in the heart of the seeker. When the darkness is gone, all the mental constructions of a being is gone. That rises in the heart, in the lotus heart. Lotus heart is the pure heart. So when the heart is pure, nobody can stop one's realization of the ArulJothi or the gracious light. All that is required is to purify the heart, not with the will, but by the devotion, by the surrender, by the love for the God, and by the Jiva Karunyam. Seeing each and every living being as the manifestation of that one blissful light. And serving without the servant, serving the mankind without the servant, without the feeling that I am serving and you are being served. I am here to give and you are being given, and I am the giver and you are the borrower. You are someone low and I am someone giving who has, not with that division of being served and served, the server and being served, not with that division, but seeing the same blissful light in the whole universe and all living beings as the manifestation of that one blissful light, ArulJothi, and being there as love itself and serving the humanity is what something that can purify the heart of a being, and also constant remembrance and constant contemplation and seeing the ArulJothi or the Creator as one's father, as one's mother, as one's friend, and as one's everything, as the only relationship and only guide and only teacher, and rely completely upon the grace of God that can purify the heart of a being, the heart of a seeker. எனது அகத்தே சழக்கு வெளுத்தது ஜாதி ஆசிரம சாரம் சமய மதாசாரம் என சண்டையிட்ட கலக வழக்கு வெளுத்தது. As we have already looked at, how pathetically this caste and religions and nationalities divide, and wherever there is division, when I say I am different and you are different, and I am something, I am Hindu and you are Muslim, and I am something different, I am separate from you, and you are that and I am this, and that division itself stops the unity or the integration of a being with the other being. A jiva cannot integrate with the other jiva when there is a division. He says that these people and I, those people and these people. There is no such division. If you see empirically, actually there is no such division. All these divisions are created by the mind, a kind of a program. So, these divisions can be discarded by questioning. One has to inquire deeply, what is this? How can I be a Hindu? Why am I a Hindu? And why am I a Christian? And why am I a Muslim? How did this happen? Where did it start? So, one has to begin to realize the truth with the truth itself. So, Sanmarga is not the path to the truth, but it is the path of the truth. From the very first step, one discards all division and rely totally upon that one blissful light, which is the ArulJothi, which is in the form of that compassion which caters the needs of each and every living being. Wherever it is there. It is there in every place. It is there in your house. It is there in your office. It is there in the temple. It is there in the road. It is there in the sky and the stars and the garden. Without any discrimination of nation, it is there in the mosque. It is there in the church. And it is everywhere in the world. Wherever you are, you can communicate to that blissful light which is ArulJothi. So, that which is all pervading all over the universe is what? The ArulJothi. Sadi Ashramacharam Samaya Madacharam என சண்டையிட்ட கலக வழக்கு வெளுத்தது பலவாம் பொய் நூல்கள் கற்றவர் தம் மனம் வெளுத்து வாய் வெளுத்து வாயுர வாதித்த முழக்கும் வெளுத்தது. Here we are looking at the empty, vain arguments which are the obstacles in the path of the truth. Empty, vain arguments. One reads many other books and gathers some concepts from each and every book and puts together in his brain, and he forms a concept of a God, and he follows that, and he says, I am right. So this is what happens to every seeker of truth, if one sees. So reading many kinds of books doesn't give one the actual realization of the truth. It adds to one's ego and the intellect, and ego, which is the only obstacle, gathers more strength. So something that has to be got rid of is strengthened. If something that has to be got rid of is strengthened, how can one attain, or how can one realize the truth? So, the ego which has to be got rid of has to be emptied, has to be dropped. So, to drop the ego, reading more and gathering knowledge of something which one doesn't know at all is an obstacle. So, reading many books and arguing to prove one's own concept doesn't help in the path of the realization. Sage Ramalinga Adikalar is very clear in stating that reading or memorizing or analyzing of a scripture doesn't really help the seeker. It may help him to gather a few concepts, but one has to stop all this and completely surrender his intellect and realize the futility of the intellect. Intellect can gather the concepts of the world, material world, but it cannot really grasp something that which is beyond the intellect, beyond the mind and beyond the ego. So intellect is powerful in the material world, but not in the knowing of something that is beyond the capacity of the intellect or the ego. One has to be, intellect has to realize its futility, and ego has to realize its own limitation and drop itself and completely surrender to the love and compassion and the blissful light that is the form of grace, the ArulJothi. And that is the Thaniperum Karunai, which can really serve as the mother, as a father, as the real teacher, and and one becomes a child of that compassionate Lord when he realizes the limitations of the ego. Sivame Porul Yenum Shanmarga Muluneriyil Paranada Murasu Murangiyade. Sivame Porul. Shivam, that auspiciousness. The Shivam is not different from the ArulJothi. The Sivam is not a personality. Sivam is not a form. Shivan is different from Shivam. So Shivam is that which is beyond the form and which has become all the forms of the universe. Shivam is beyond the form, beyond the world, and the world has come from that auspiciousness. Shivam is all pervading. Shivam is grace, and Shivam is the eternal love, and Shivam is the Thaniperum Karunai, which is the compassion. So Shivame Porul, Porul literally to be translated is the meaning, the purpose, is the substance. So that alone exists. All that you see, all that the senses see, all that the mind can see changes. One day it is there and the next moment it vanishes. We have seen people, the body, one's body, it is there and maybe tomorrow it may not be there tomorrow. And one's a form, a tree, it is there and tomorrow may not be there. So everything that we possess, the money may be here today, may not be there tomorrow. And the house, maybe it is here today, tomorrow may not be here or maybe in some other's hands. So all that we possess, this body, this mind, today it is in a concept, tomorrow it may change to other concept. It is something impermanent. So all that we see and possess and hear, touch, everything changes, subject to change, impermanent. But the substance that lies permeating all this, something immutable that is unchangeable, is alone is the porul, is alone is the permanent. So one has to realize, and that is the truth of a being, and one realizes that, if one realizes that he has no sorrow and he realizes that death may be there to the body, death is there to the body, but not to the self, not his own self. Sivame Porul Yenum Shanmarga Mulu Neriyil Paranada Murasu Murangiyade. And this is the proclamation of all the sages, has been for more than 1,000 years, 2,000 years in this ancient country of Bharata and all over the world. And what Jesus has proclaimed, the truth, to realize the truth. One has to realize his own truth, what is his own self, and that is the purpose of one's life, and that is what is the proclamation of ArulJothi Sri Ramalinga Adigalar. So his proclamation is to awaken one's self, to induce the being and lit up the flame in one's heart, to awaken the people who are in a way slept to the wisdom of the world. He lights up the flame in their heart and proclaims, asks them to realize the truth of their own self. Let us look at the chanting of the way we chant the Mahamantra. ArulJothi, ArulJothi, Thaniperum Karunai, ArulJothi. One of the things which we have to understand when we chant the mantra, Mahamantra, is ArulJothi is a word that indicates the substance, a word that indicates the reality behind it. We have to keep in mind that the word is not the actual thing, but the word is the symbol of the actual. Word is the symbol of the actual. So when we chant the ArulJothi, Thaniperum Karunai, ArulJothi, our mind has to contemplate on that substance that is beyond one's mind, one's body, and the world. And when we look at every soul, we have to look at it as the manifestation of that substance, which is the ArulJothi. So when we look at the Jiva in such a way, the whole universe transpires to the Bhakta. The whole universe transpires to the love of the Bhakta, and whatever good he wants to do in this world can be done effortlessly. And that one substance which underlies each and every being loves this Bhakta, because this Bhakta doesn't see the beings as just the body and the mind. He sees the reality or the truth that underlies the appearance, underlies, that is impermeating the body and the mind of every Jiva. So the Bhakta sees his own self, which is the ArulJothi, everywhere around him, everywhere in the world. When he sees the tree, he sees only the ArulJothi. When he sees a man, he sees only that one blissful light. When he sees the stars, he sees that one blissful light has become that stars in taking the form of a Shakti. So we say Shivam and Shakti, that Shivam is the ArulJothi and the Shakti is the manifestation of the ArulJothi, which is this vast universe. When one realizes this truth, he has no fear. He has raised beyond the fear and beyond the desire and beyond the sorrow. Sorrow and fear are there only when there is a division. When there is a division, there is a fear. When there is a division, there is insecurity of protecting one's own self from the other. When there is no other, there is no fear. So realizing the truth, the gracious blissful light, the ArulJothi, is realizing one's self as the manifestation of the universe and even beyond the manifestation, that immutable consciousness. I pray, my prayer for each and every soul to realize the truth. Arutperum Jodi, Arutperum Jodi, Thanipperum Karunai, Arutperum Jodi.